welcome to Warhammer Workshop. My name is Amy, and I'm joined, as always, by JF. JF, hello.
Hi.
All right, so it is. This is our preview review kind of Warhammer Fest Day 1. It's a lot. There's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening, and both of us were stupid enough to decide that we were going to watch a 40K preview at the live, or as live as they make it, on Twitch.
Yeah.
At
4 a.m. local time.
4 a.m. local time for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which for me implied getting up at 3 a.m. so I could walk and get a coffee at what is always a disappointing Tim Hortons.
Ideal. Perfectly well done.
But for people in context, Tim Hortons is basically known for coffee and donut, and they were open 24, and the only thing they had was coffee, which at this point you might as well just
Yeah.
don't be over 24 hours.
So, I feel like it was worth getting up though, because there was a lot of good things.
Exciting.
Because
one thing I didn't consider is that being excited about dumb miniature meant I was overthinking dumb miniatures instead of going back to bed.
Yeah, back to bed. Saying I'll go back to bed only works if you're good at sleeping. So, Leviathan is the name of the box, and it's a biggin.
We knew Leviathan was coming, not that it was going to be called Leviathan, although it's a good name.
It's a good name.
For a long list of reasons. They had told us, like, we're going to be showing you what's in the box for 10th edition, and show us they did. And Leviathan really works for the amount of things that goes in there. It is. Then again, Behemoth would also have been appropriate.
What did they say? What did they say? 36 sprues.
Something like that.
It's a nonsense amount of stuff.
The Tyranids alone have over 40 figs.
So there are 25 Space Marines, 47 miniatures. The Leviathan rulebook, which we're going to
47 Tyranid miniatures.
Tyranid miniatures.
Yes, this is almost this is 68 miniatures total, if I'm not mistaken.
No, 72.
Oh, I'm sorry.
72, right? No, 68. You're right. I don't know. Math is hard.
No, 72. You're
72.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're so bad at math. Like the numbers are right there.
So,
it's arithmetic.
I know.
Crying out loud.
It's fine. The Leviathan rulebook, which we're going to talk about because they mentioned some kind of cool features about that. The Leviathan mission deck, which we just learned about in a preview on the community site a few days before this, or the day before this, and a Space Marine transfer sheet because G-dubs, they love their transfer sheets.
I love transfer sheets.
Transfer sheets are great. I just never seem to play armies that require a transfer sheet.
Well, I play a lot of Tyranids, so obviously they're not my big thing usually.
Yeah.
But I've started playing other things. I'm enjoying transfer sheets.
All right, so let's start on the Marine side. There's a lot of like cool hero-y type models in this box, starting with the Captain in Terminator armor and the Librarian in Terminator armor. They're cool boys. The glowing runes, we did see this one previously, and he is, of course, in the preview video. Yeah. I mean, they're pretty cool.
They're good. They have a good mix of having a dynamic pose while not necessarily being in a position that prevents conversions from and weapon swaps from happening. So that's neat. They also both have some amount of scenic rune, some more than others.
Yeah.
But again, not in a way that prevents you. Like, if you're not into having your captain standing on a Tyranid head, you can probably shave that off pretty easily and replace it with more tactical rocks.
Yeah. It is worth mentioning that they did say that all the models in this box, as is usual for a edition launch box, all of these models are monopose press fit. Worth mentioning.
We're at a point, like, there used to be, like, the first two boxes, I think, where a monopose press fit came into play. You could kind of see that having that feature hindered the quality of the model. Like, they weren't as cool.
Yeah.
We've grown beyond
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Like, it does not matter.
No. I do tend to shave down the pegs just to make it a little easier for me, but
Yeah, if you can file around them to make it easier, maybe shorten them by a millimeter just to be sure.
Yep.
Because sometimes they're a bit too long or a bit too tight.
Yeah.
And glue does lubricate when you're assembling the pieces, but glue is also glue. So, you know.
Yeah.
My favorite boy.
This is so good. So we have the Apothecary Biologus, which is great. He's out there getting samples. He will heal you maybe, but that is not his priority. He is out here getting the goods. Love this model. It's very good. And he is joined by the Lieutenant in Phobos armor, who we did see. I do like that the lore behind this guy is that he has been on this planet already. Like, this is his second tour of duty, which is why he has his little Tyranid armor plates
Scars
and stuff like that. Yeah.
He's got trophies. He's got scars. He's been through it. Should have hung out with the apothecary a
little bit better. We have the Sternguard Veteran Squad. I like these an awful lot.
So these are technically Primaris.
Yep.
They have the Primaris size, but because they are veteran, they are starting to adorn their armor with gimmicks and relics and things, and they're using a larger variety of marks of helmets and pieces of armor, which makes them not look quite as much like Primaris. They're just taller Space Marines.
I think there's a little bit of that in a lot of these things that we've got in this box. Is it's new things that look like the old things.
Yes, and you notice to a certain degree, like there was this prophecy back when Primaris were first announced that Primaris were going to replace old Space Marines, and I wasn't buying it until now. Like, now that it's been a decade or so, and now we're starting to see that because a lot of the Primaris stuff was new. Like, it didn't replace, it was in addition to.
Right.
But now we're more and more seeing that even stylistically, it is kind of replacing old Space Marines.
Yeah.
But we'll see more about that as we go along.
Along those similar lines is this Terminator Squad. I like these guys a lot. I like the old helmet. I like their little beacon. That's pretty terrific. No,
the Terminators are probably one of the models that, like, back when they were just monopose metal Terminators on 25 millimeter bases.
Yeah.
They're the models that kind of got me into 40K. I remember using tester enamel paint green to paint one.
Yeah.
I was very happy with the results. It wasn't good. I was also like 10 at the time, so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's one of the first things that really kind of got me into exploring this as a hobby.
Awesome. We're also getting the Infernus Squad, because if you're going up against hordes and hordes of bugs, you're going to want some flamers.
Because it's traditional for Games Workshop to, here's brand new models of a traditional enemies of the Space Marines, and they are very powerful and menacing. But also, here's how to easily beat them.
Here's everything you need to win. They're cool, though. I like flamers as weapons. I think they always look pretty terrific.
Especially those have they look like future flamers as opposed to some of the other designs of flamers
like
that we've seen.
The charcoal grill lighters.
Yeah, they don't look great. But one thing that's interesting about that is that full units of special weapons is a very Warhammer 30K thing. It's a very whole heresy way of going about things.
Yes.
So it's interesting to see that pop up. Non-bolter Space Marines in 40K.
Yeah.
I'm curious if we're going to see more of this going forward. Especially now that they've kind of proven the model of selling conversion kits.
Yes.
For special weapons.
Yep. Works great.
So who knows what
we will buy them.
Well, yeah, clearly.
And again, one boxy boy, the Ballistus Dreadnought.
Oh, he looks familiar, doesn't he?
He sure does.
Mm-hmm.
Sure does. Yeah, he's got a missile launcher and a las cannon, and he's going to blow big things up. He stands in the back.
He's got the tummy bolters.
He does. So good.
And yeah, no, I've I really like building Redemptor Dreadnought. They are good.
They are very good.
I'm looking forward to doing more of them. And this is basically like, for those who have not been in the hobby for so long, this is what the old Space Marine non-Primaris Dreadnoughts look like.
Yep.
That's the weapon loadout they had. And I don't know, like once you put that same weapon loadout with the same sort of armor plates on the sides, it looks like just a larger version of the original Dreadnought, and I am down for that evolution.
Yeah. During the stream, they showed a picture of it next to the original. It was just like a little guy.
Yeah, a little buddy.
So that rounds out the Space Marine half of this box, and it feels like an awful lot, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like a lot? It feels like so much.
You get like something like 3 what would have been called HQs at the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Plus
that's right, because that's
character.
the thing, is that you can have characters and you just pick one, and that's your dude. I keep forgetting
and you can
that.
have them join units and things.
Yeah.
Like there's like the dynamics have changed in a way, like by bringing some of the old and stitching it onto the new. But yeah, I know where I'm gonna let you go where you were going. Let's talk about.
Let's
more
go to the
models.
other half of the box. So we're going to start with one that we have seen, the Tyranid Prime, the Winged Tyranid Prime. Saw him a couple days ago. He's great. And he was impressive when they showed it to us, and then they just eclipse him with everything else in this box.
Everything else that came in this box is just so exciting to me.
The most exciting one for me, I think, is the Neuro Tyrant. Oh boy. So Psychic is back in a big way with these Tyranids.
Well, that's the thing that we're gonna see going forward, is that Synapse and Psychic seem to be a deal with this.
Yeah.
Which is exciting to me because I've already done my Toxic Tyranid.
Right.
I have like the Malmthrope, and I've got the Toxicrene, I've got some Venom Thrope. Like, I went with the poison.
Yeah.
Now I get to go with the Psyker, and not just by having a Neurothrope, but by having this bad boy.
So good. So he's got his 2 little. So he is a focusing node for Synapse, and then he's got his 2 little guys that they described as like Wi-Fi boosters, which I thought was pretty good. But we all understand exactly how that works. No problem.
Yeah, no, I mean,
love that. They're
good.
so creepy. It's just so creepy.
And it's such a beautiful fig. Like, here we only see him from the front, but all around it, it's one of those. It's a very complex fig.
Yeah.
It's reminiscent, as was pointed out, of the original Metal Lictor, of which I have that fig unbuilt. It's great. It's a massive. It's a big fig too. Like, it's a large one, which is awesome. And like I say, like it's akin to a Hive Tyrant, but psychically focused. Whereas like a Neurothrope is kind of like your Tyranid Prime of HQ, and this fits more in the range of what the Tyrant can do. And I thought from the video that this would be the Doom of Mountai. I never cared for the Doom of Mountai. Because it was just one of those things that were used by tournament players to overwhelm the opponent and just cheap their way into victories. This is a lot more fun to me because it's a lot more versatile, more characterful, and it's more new. Super excited about that.
And then, as we know, Carnifexes come in many shapes and sizes, and so how about a Screamer Killer?
And this is great because we just talked about that new Dreadnought.
Yep.
That is a callback to the original Dreadnought.
Yep.
And the mirror opposite on the Tyranid side for that Dreadnought has always been the classic metal Screamer Killer Carnifex.
Yep.
The original Carnifex. Just had these 4 scything talons, yelling mouth, and they've updated it the same way they updated the Red Dreadnought so that you can have a modern matchup. And I love that. It's very much bringing back some of the past glories and making them new and better.
So good. So he's a big boy.
He is, and it's weird because everybody absolutely lost their mind. I like him. Don't get me wrong. Least favorite thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. He is my least favorite of the new and exciting things in the box.
Yeah, I mean, glad he's here.
Yeah.
He's great, but everything else is so much greater.
Next up, we've seen these. These are Von Ryan's Leapers. They are not lictors. They are pack hunting creatures, similar to lictors, but we've seen them.
No, and I can't specify how much. Like you brought this to my attention, and I found my whole third edition codex. The fact that these things were hinted way back then.
Oh yeah,
that is good.
That's why I love how much lore and things like that they seed into these things that may or may never, like, I'm never upset about loose ends because that's the whole point. The whole point is that you can fill in the, like, if you had wanted to figure out what Von Ryan's Leapers were, you could have. No problem. You can make your own. But it also leaves them doorways to do cool things like these guys.
Yeah, and I mean, as someone who does write a continuous online podcast series, you can check it out. Look for Aquilo on all your podcatchers. But the idea of leaving loose ends that you can pick up later as you write the continuous ongoing story isn't just cool. Like, it's crucial.
Yeah.
You need to do that, otherwise everything will feel sterile. And every time you bring in something new, it feels like it comes out of left field.
And you don't have to have a plan for it. You can just put a name and go, great.
Yeah.
We'll
Exactly.
get there. We'll find out
Sometimes
what that is
it's just
someday.
like, sometimes it's a name in a silhouette in a book saying like classified. Sometimes you can have a plan, but that's it. But the mix of having things like the neuro tyrant, which is absolutely new, it's nothing we've seen before, and then these guys that have been hinted, a cousin of the lictors, which I'm sure we're gonna see plastic lictors. We have to, but something that you and I have discussed in the past. If these guys look like normal lictor as much as they do right now, how do they update the lictor to be different enough to be cool? And seeing that lictors are now solitary, and they highlight the fact the lictor is so solitary that those that aren't are their own things.
Right.
I feel like the Fig needs to really step up from what we've seen. So I'm eager to see what they come up with.
We also got a preview of the Termagants, which it is worth mentioning there are new Rippers. Woo! They don't look very different.
New Rippers.
I mean,
Love
but
Rippers.
they're lovely models. Very excited.
Of all the models, the Rippers are the ones I didn't really want them to update too much.
They really didn't, though. They just...
No, that's the thing. Like they're slightly
good.
more dynamic. They look more like a swarm and less just like 3 Rippers on a base.
Exactly.
Which was kind of a problem back in the day. Although what I did, they always had 3 wounds, so I would magnetize my Rippers, and every time they took a wound, I would remove the Ripper. That was fun, but I prefer they look better.
Yeah. And then we get into some really weird left field stuff. I really feel. And we're gonna start with the Neurogaunts. Okay.
I love them so much.
So these are your gaunts that have parasitic neurocytes that cling to their backs. All right. Sure thing.
Now, we don't know exactly what these guys do.
No.
But there is mention of a synaptic node.
Yep.
Which it feels like the big guy in the middle here
yeah.
could, like, I feel like maybe he's a synapse relay to extend your synapse network. All right, cool, but what else do they do?
So there is also, it does mention in the description of these guys that they will sacrifice themselves in order to protect powerful synapse creatures. And we're going to get to something that I feel like might be involved here in a little bit.
As what I like to call I like to think of myself as somewhat of a veteran Tyranid player.
Sure.
All your models sacrifice themselves for the bigger ones.
Yeah.
That is how it works. So I don't know that narrows them down specifically. Maybe they have a specific rule for it.
Sure.
But what? I don't know, and I'm eager to find out. But these look so good.
They're so
the
good.
fact that they're blind, so I feel like they rely even more on synaptic control to do their job. They're just wonderful models.
Weird. They're so creepy. I love them.
I love them. And one of the things that's interesting about bringing these up, and we'll see another variant later on, but it really feels like the hive mind had decided one of our most successful, yet unsung heroes of the biomass experiment that we're continuously doing in the Milky Way is the Gaunt genome. Let's really lean into this.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do with the Barb Gaunts. These guys are weird.
Again, creepy.
They're so creepy. So these guys have a biocannon and a ganglioparasite that combines them. What?
Every time the suffix plus parasite, always sounds creepy.
So gross. Whatever it is, it's just gross. I dig these guys a lot. These are probably the most controversial models in the box among the internet.
All right, so biologically, the thing that they've got is there used to be a time, I think it was 3rd edition, maybe 4th edition, one of the codexes allowed you to, a certain degree, customize Gaunts a lot. To the point where they had 2 extra weapons. Like you could upgrade 1 per unit or 1 per certain number of models per unit with a special gun, and one of them was, I think, a Stranglethorn cannon. And this seems to be their way of paying homage to that.
Right.
But instead of it being an upgrade to a unit that probably shouldn't have upgrades, just to keep it simple, they're their own unit. But at the same time, to make him slower, they're kind of they're using one of their arms to hold the parasite.
It's
grafted there.
Yeah. It's gross.
So they kind of lop around on these on 3 legs. Which probably slows them down.
Now,
and I like it.
I will say, right, because they're like, no, that was the big argument that I saw on the internet this morning was people complaining about them only using 3 legs. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a 3-legged cat, but they are faster than 4-legged cats 99% of the time. So I think these guys will be fine. They'll be fine.
And even if they're not, even if that is the excuse to make them slower, I don't think their job is to move around fast.
They're
got
shooty
big
guys.
Guns. Yeah. And here's the thing, and no offense to 3-legged cats, but we're kind of wired to see symmetry. And a 3-legged asymmetrical creature is naturally unsettling.
Yes, it is.
And Tyranids are supposed to be unsettling.
They are already unsettling.
Yeah, and that just adds a little thing, because imagine how they move. Like they're hobbling. Like just their weight is uneven. They have to kind of balance themselves. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention that other Gaunts run on 2 legs, so they'll be fine. So then.
Fan favorite?
Fan favorite. I mean, I still think...
No, the Neurothrope's still the best, but this guy is special.
So this is the Psychophage. It eats psychers.
It's part of a balanced breakfast.
Yeah. It metabolizes psychic life forms into psycho-corrosive ash, which it projects forward in blistering torrents. Oh, no.
It's
now
so weird.
Here's what I want, and I am very, and he is eating part of a Space Marine, which is very good. Now here's one of the things that I want, right? Because I'm a big fan of when vehicles explode. So I kind of want there to be like a last ditch effort of a psyker being eaten to maybe peril, and maybe do damage on the way in. I feel like that would be deliciously fun. That said, it's gonna be good. This thing is
I want
just so good.
Several of these guys. The position it has, where it's kind of like bending down, the way it's built, like it's very
not
creepy.
It's much bigger, I think, but it's not dissimilar from one of my favorite Chaos models, the Venom Crawler. And this is like the biological
exactly
version of it.
Now, my only worry, and I don't want them to be completely inefficient, whatever.
Yeah.
When there are no psychers.
No.
Because
I
that
don't
is
think they
frustrating.
Will. Right. Well, so that was one of my things, right? Is I wonder if, I mean, I wonder if it could eat some of its own little friends if it had to.
Oh no. What if it can be eaten by the little neurogons?
That's what I'm saying. If it's like nom nom nom.
I don't have a psyker, an enemy psyker nearby. I'm gonna chomp down a handful of neurogons and spit that out.
Yeah.
That is the kind of dynamic I want to see in armies like Tyranids.
I mean, they've kind of done similar things for orcs, or they do it in Chaos in Demon Engines all the time. Sacrifice your cultists and heal your Demon Engines. So there's a precedent. They do seem to be leaning towards rules that are a little bit more fun. Yeah.
While not necessarily sacrificing efficiency.
Yep.
So if you have a unit that's there just as, a bigger creature's lunchbox,
or not exclusively as that, but can be that.
they can do something.
Yeah.
But they are kind of cheap enough that you can do that, and you don't feel like you're sacrificing your entire army's fulcrum. Mm-hmm. But what a beautiful model!
It's so gorgeous. I love this model. It's so creepy. I'm already thinking about how I'm going to paint them, and it's all.
I've got my color scheme, and I can. Every time I see a Tyranid model, my color scheme overlays itself naturally over it.
So I have my one Tyranid that I am known for.
Yes,
which is my fame parasite of Mortrex. So I've got a whole thematic thing now because all of the wing ones are going to be painted basically like him, but they're all dark for a reason because they hide against the sky, and so some of the brighter colors that are in there are going to be more predominant in the ground units. There's going to be bioluminescent flowers and plants, and it's going to be great. All right. It's very hard to stay focused on any of the projects I'm supposed to be working on while they continue to show me cool things.
My trick has been reward myself with the cool things I'm seeing now once I'm done with the cool things I'm doing now.
Yes.
It's the only way to progress. Otherwise, it's madness.
So it comes with a special edition Leviathan rulebook, which they've done a cool thing in that the rule sections, so this has the rules and the crusades and all of the lore behind the Tyrannic War. So the cool thing that they've done is that page numbers for the rules section are going to be universal across everywhere that rules are. They are numbered separately. And that is a cool thing.
Once you get to the rules section, I think it just resets to 1 from that point on.
Yeah. And so if you have, I hope they put out another little rule book, please. Because that's always one of my favorite things, is the nice little portable rule book. But no matter what, so that it's universal across all of the printings, that these rule numbers are going to be the same. There's also the deck of cards, which we learned about the other day, which has ways to build missions and then gambits.
Gambit's an interesting addition because the way I've been playing 40K in the past, I don't know, 2 years, has been using the Tempest cards.
Yep, Tempest of War.
Tempest of War cards have been the best way because you can go. It really shortened the time for picking and setting up a mission, and this is exactly the same thing. Yep. This is Tempest of War plus gambits.
So I'm sure we'll talk about this at another time at some point, because especially once we get our hands on them, because I really want to. But gambits are a thing that you can employ. Basically, I think it's turn 3, and it basically gives you a whole new. You can choose to, and it basically gives you a whole new set of objectives. So if your best laid plans are not going great, as is usually the case when I'm playing, you can Hail Mary and try and pull it out in a completely weird way, which I was into.
And one of the examples that has been given on the community website so far, it is a Hail Mary. Like, the rewards are great, but once you do just basic maths, which I failed the first time I tried to do math, but that's another story. I swear I can count.
Yeah.
But even if you get optimal conditions, you only have about a 27% chance of getting those points at all.
But that is if your game is going poorly, that's 20% more chance than you had
No,
before.
absolutely. It could be 27% more
Yeah,
chances
yeah.
of getting anything done. But like they say, it's a Hail Mary thing. But what's interesting is there has been a Hail Mary condition in Warhammer 40K in the past, which was seizing initiative.
Right.
Not popular.
No.
Because it basically, instead of being a Hail Mary at the end of the game, it's one at the beginning. It's one that just changes the entire flavor of the game itself.
Right.
Instead of being something that you choose on 3rd and 3, things are not going well, I'm doing something different.
Yes.
Which is a lot more interesting.
And you're not obligated to use them, so that's great.
No, there's even a decoy one. You can red herring your way through it. It's great.
It's so good. Okay. So they have this was honestly one of my favorite things that they've done for us. They have given us an entire year's worth of roadmap, which if you are people like us and planning for events next spring, and we hit the ground running when we got back from Adepticon, but we were also doing the the new edition's coming out, so there's only so much we can do right now. We have a roadmap for the next year.
And it's not one of those little dumb...
No, there's no secrets.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, secret codex. This is going to be an Imperium codex.
No, just tell us.
I don't care what that is. Exactly.
Right. If it's something new and you want to make it secret, that's fine.
By all means, because we're not planning for it anyway.
Yeah. So this is great. So obviously this summer we have June was the date. Was the only firm date we were given in the video.
A vague date.
It's
still, if it is summer June, then it's on the 24th.
Yeah.
If it's June.
Yeah. It could be anything. So anyway, so that's the Leviathan stuff, including the index cards, they're going to be available for free online, but if you want physical cards, you can purchase those.
I hate spending money on something that's going to get replaced, but man,
but here's the thing. It's not as bad when you know that your codex is not coming in 12 months.
That is true.
You know what I mean? If you're going to get at least a year's worth of use out of these cards, it's less painful, I find.
That is absolutely true. Let's assume they're about $24 a pack of card.
Sure.
You're playing Imperial Knight. Those are not coming out in the next year. So you're basically investing $2 a month into being, having the comfort of playing, of having the physical card. So, yeah, it seems like that. It is I like the roadmap exactly for that reason. It allows you to plan properly.
So no surprise, the first ones up are Tyranids and Space Marines. I'm a little surprised that they're not coming out with the box. That seems weird to me, but okay.
But they are coming out with indexes for them, so it's not like you can't play.
No, you can play, but I'm just saying it's just weird that they're just not also doing the codexes right now.
To me, that says, and we already know, we've seen a ton of new Tyranid things, and I don't think they're done.
No, we haven't seen anything that's not in the box.
Exactly. So coming out with the Tyranid Codex at the same time as the box, and not having all the other new models that might be coming out.
Because that was the other thing they mentioned, is that these all come with something.
Yeah, everything's getting a new model, which in certain cases may be a Vigilus thing.
Sure.
But in some cases, can't be a Vigilus thing. And that's going to be fun.
Yep.
Because once you get to Chaos Knights, they're not going to put some dude in infantry.
No.
It has to be something more than that.
Yep.
And hopefully it'll be more than that for everything.
Hopefully. So then in the winter we have the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Necrons. A fun combo, if you ask me.
If you're thinking that every one of these quarters has its own potential campaign book or crusade book, which is something they said they were going to do. They were going to do crusade books, and the first crusade is the Leviathan. Then once, in 2 quarters, in 6 months, once we get to winter 2023 in December, maybe we're looking at a new crusade book. And now we're looking at, we love the machines and we are the machines fighting against each other. That sounds like a crusade to me.
It's very good. Yeah. I don't know. It sounds pretty heretical. From the Adeptus Mechanicus point of view, it's fine. Then this next bit for spring of 2024, there's a few interesting things here for me. All right, so we've got Codex Dark Angels, not Codex Supplement Dark Angels. Just saying.
Thank God. Honestly, I'm so in favor of this.
Codex Orcs, which has me questioning if the Beast Snagas are rolled into this like they did with the Harlequins into the Eldari, or are Beast Snagas gonna get there?
Beast Snagas
they're currently in there.
rolled with.
I mean, they're currently together.
I don't think they could be split off.
I don't think so either, but they had at one point been their own thing. We have the Adeptus Custodes, Shiny Gold Boys.
That's another one that a new model could be.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been moving resin to plastic a lot. We're going to talk probably about the Ceres, just not soon enough. But there's a couple of cool flyers for the Custodes, or even some of their tanks that having them in plastic wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
We have Codex Tau, which I feel like has potential for some fun things. And Codex Chaos Space Marines. Very good. Very excited. Which I don't expect much for them because they got a lot of stuff this last go round. I wouldn't mind a new Demon Engine though.
Well, the one thing that we're going to see is the complete removal of anything that could even hint at World Eaters that might have been left. We may see a formalization or an expansion on some of their cultists, but also they're going to roll in Vashtor, and they may expand on Vashtor.
Yeah.
I don't mean to put any false hope in your heart.
I know.
If they're rolling in Vashtor, they could be rolling in a couple of demon engines to.
Especially if it's coming right after the Adeptus Mechanicus and Necron campaign.
So I don't know, man. It's something to look forward to? Question mark.
Yep. All right, so that is the 40K preview that we had. Very exciting. A lot of new stuff. We knew this was going to be the big one, but it is by far not the only one. So we had one other preview on day one, and that was for, I'm going to call it boxed games. It was Warcry, Middle-earth, and Underworlds. So Underworlds, good news. We are in Weird Hollow for the season, which is delightful to me because that's where I want to be. And we're starting with the what are they? I don't even know what they're called. Oh, the Executioners of Nagash, the cursed Executioners of Nagash. So this is great because these guys are all about the Dreadblade Terminus. So there is the wielder, the wielder of the blade.
Anvil.
Yeah. That, and so they're all just like they deal with this blade, and that's their whole thing.
Yeah. And that blade is used to kill people on the Gash shit list.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's one of these guys has the list.
He has the list. Another addition to my favorite category of model, which is models that are referring to the rules of the game in which they are appearing, which is very good. I love a model
seems to be,
looking at a book.
at something wrong.
Yeah. So these guys are fun. Big fan. 4 quick models. Lovely, lovely. We got a roadmap for them too. We've got, so the Headman Curse, an updated starter set, and that's going to be another one for players that want to get into the game. It's going to be warbands that have been previously released instead of new ones, but it's your starter set as well as new Rivals deck. Then in the fall, we have another Chaos Warband and a new core box with 2 new warbands. So that'll be the second one in Weird Hollow, I think. And then in the winter, Destruction Warband and another Rivals deck. Fantastic.
They're doing that thing where they don't tell us exactly what is being done, which is fine.
That's fine because these are all self-contained. Exactly. Yeah. It's a self-contained thing, and that's great. And then the Rivals decks can be with anybody.
Yeah, I'm not waiting for that new Chaos Warband to play my old Chaos Warband.
Exactly. in Middle-earth, we're getting what are we calling this? A diorama?
It looks
I
like
suppose.
a diorama to me.
You can, because you can take the ring wraith off of its base, you can use it in your games should you want to, but this is, they imagine, mostly just for painters and collectors. This is Get Off the Road. The Middle-earth scenery comes apart. Great. Forge World. It's resin. It's pretty. That's about all there is to say about it.
That is, I mean, yeah, that's the problem. Like, it is very cool and very corner case use.
Yep. It does have a cabbage, and that's great.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad I saw it.
Yep, that's the thing.
But I'm also fine if I never see it again.
I know one person personally who will be very excited to purchase and paint this, and that's great.
I feel that everybody that's really into Lord of the Rings will be excited about it, but
yeah. So Warcry, this is the final box of the season, and this one is Nightmare Quest.
It's like looking for a job in this economic economy.
So this one pits the Questor Soulsworn from the Stormcast Eternals. They're usually solo agents. These are sort of paladin types, and they are accepting quests to go carry out the God King's will.
Quests given directly by Sigmar.
Yeah, which is the fun part about Age of Sigmar, right? It's the fun part about that is because it's like, well, why do you believe in this god? Well, he's over there. Hey, and you can just wave, and he's just standing there, and that's great. So they come in through the lantern, apparently, according to Alex in the stream. So then the other side of this gets real weird. So it's flesh eater quartz. It's flesh eater quartz, which are always unsettling. But these guys are apparently, according to the preview, very delusional, and they all still think that they are nobles, even though they are decaying zombie vampire guys. These like hound things are so
like
weird.
baboon things.
Yeah, well, so they were people at one point, and now they are not. And it's
that didn't turn out well for them.
No, it didn't go well. This is like, this is somehow worse than, like we say that, you know, the Blessings of Chaos, the middle bit is real bad. This is like somehow worse. It's real gross.
One of them has a bone sticking through his forearm.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this. There's a lot of dermal piercings. It's not good. These guys are gross.
God, it's
I mean, they're
dermal
good.
piercings. It's going right through between the other bones.
It's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, if this is vacation for you,
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, no, they're great.
I write horror, so this is cool.
So these guys tromping through the gnarlwood are cool. Those are awful hounds, by the way, is what they are called. And
choice.
this comes with, you know, a Realm Shaper engine. Sure. If you,
it sounds like terraforming.
yeah, I mean, it kind of is. If you have all 4 boxes, you will have enough terrain for a full Age of Sigmar board, which is good. It's like they've done with the boarding actions on the 40k side and Kill Team. You get yourself a nice little pile of terrain. Yeah. It's cool and gross. And we got a timeline for them too. So we have Nightmare Quest coming this spring. This summer, there's a new starter set for new players. Again, expecting that to be a little more basic than the season boxes. And then 4 new warbands in the autumn, 2 more in the spring, and 2 more, who knows? I mean, 2 in the winter, 2 more, who knows, in the spring. And we do not know where we're going with this yet. My assumption would be Weird Hollow, if that's what Underworlds is doing, and that could be interesting.
Weird Hollow Warcry would be
in trouble.
Really out there.
Yeah, I would be in trouble. I would have to be back in it. And that would be scary.
I need to finish a Warband.
Yeah. So, that was the wrap up of day 1 of all of the previews. It's a lot of stuff, and there's more stuff to talk about. Like right now in the physical space in which we're recording, it is day 2, and there's already like a lot more stuff to talk about. But we'll get to that.
I hinted at a plastic Sarastra just night earlier, and that is a thing.
They were like, "Ooh, surprise!" Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I'm still kind of reeling from Leviathan.
Yep.
You and I are 40k players mainly,
Yes.
so that is what hits us. I am a hardcore Tyranid player, so that hits me even more. And seeing that we're getting so much new things just for the core box.
Yeah.
And there's a codex coming, and a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of potential for even more new models.
We were told at Adepticon that everything that Tyranid players wanted in plastic would be in plastic. I find this difficult to believe.
Yeah, they didn't quiz me. They don't know how much I want.
They don't
in plastic.
know.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But we're certainly, I don't think, done. And we still have the Kill Team preview coming up, in which we're going to find out what the new season is going to be. I assume that's what we're going to find out.
What else do they have to talk about?
Right. Well, we know that the Gallowdark has crashed onto a planet. So we're gonna find out what that is.
It's crashing, because wouldn't it be interesting if the very first box of the season has rules for playing a boarding action while it's on its way down? And as the turns go, pieces of the Gallowdark are just
breaking
popping off or things. Or not, maybe it's already crashed, but that's the thing. These are so massive that you can have one crash and still have a bunch of things survive. So.
Oh yeah, and we don't know what this planet is, so that's exciting. I'm into it. So we'll probably do another one of these at some point in the not too distant future to catch you up on all of the rest of the previews. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Not quite at the moment. Like I said, I'm just very excited. A lot of this information is already out, so thank you for listening to us give our opinion and our analysis on it. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment, or you can follow us on social media also.
Yep. All of our contact information and social media is in the show description. And so until next time, happy hobbying. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping us a like and subscribing. Thanks for watching.